Marcus sat at his kitchen table on the night of his 39th birthday, staring at a number on his laptop screen. Not a gift, not a milestone, just a bank balance. $312. 1 year away from 40. And that was everything he had. No retirement account, no investments. Just a red digital clock on the counter, ticking toward midnight, a stack of unopened bills, and a coffee he had let go cold. He told himself he would figure out eventually, but eventually had already run out of time. Here is what most people do not want to hear. By 40, the average American has less than $93,000 saved for retirement, according to the Federal Reserve. That sounds like a lot until you realize that financial experts say you need roughly 25 times your annual expenses to retire comfortably. For someone spending $50,000 a year, that means $1.25 million. At 39, Marcus was not even close. And the brutal truth is neither are most people watching this right now. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The gap between where Marcus was at 39 and where he needed to be was not closed by luck, or a windfall, or a viral side hustle. It was closed by 5 specific decisions he made in the 12 months before he turned 40. Decisions that are available to almost anyone. And if you are watching this before you hit that number, you still have time to make them too. This is not a video about blaming yourself for where you are financially. The truth is the American financial system does not teach most people what they actually need to know. According to a 2023 TIAA Institute study, only 19% of Americans can correctly answer basic financial literacy questions. The deck is stacked. But stacked or not, the clock does not stop. And what you do in the next few years matters more than almost any other period in your financial life. Sarah had made her 5 decisions at 35. By the time Marcus came to her for help, she was 38, had $280,000 in retirement savings, owned a small rental property, and was on track to retire by 55. She was not rich. She had not inherited anything. She had simply started 5 years earlier and made 5 different choices. What she told Marcus that evening changed everything. And today, we're going to walk through exactly what those choices were. Decision 1 is the one that feels the smallest, but hits the hardest over time. It is automating your savings before your brain can spend the money. Marcus had always planned to save what was left over at the end of the month. Sarah pointed out the problem immediately. There is never anything left over. The brain finds a way to spend available money. The only solution is to make the money unavailable before you ever see it. She had set up an automatic transfer of $200 every payday, the moment her direct deposit hit, straight into a high-yield savings account. At the time, it felt like nothing. Over 5 years, compounded at 4.5%, it had grown to over $27,000. That one automation, $200 at a time. Marcus pushed back immediately. He said he could not afford $200. Sarah said everyone says that. Then she asked him to pull up his last 3 months of bank statements. They found $340 a month on subscriptions, streaming services, apps, and memberships he had forgotten about. He was already spending $200 he did not notice. He just was not directing it anywhere useful. The first thing Sarah told him to do was audit every recurring charge on his account, cancel anything he had not actively used in the past 30 days, and redirect that money on automation before the next pay cycle. Decision 2 is starting your retirement contributions, even if it is just 1%. Marcus had no 401k contributions. He had opted out during his first job because money was tight and never opted back in. According to Vanguard's 2023 How America Saves report, 28% of Americans eligible for a workplace retirement plan do not contribute to it. The cost of that decision is enormous. An employee contributing just 3% of a $55,000 salary from age 30 to 65 ends up with roughly $340,000 more than someone who contributes nothing, even after accounting for employer matches being the same. If your employer offers a match, not contributing is leaving free money on the table every single month. Bankrate describes failing to capture an employer match as one of the most expensive financial mistakes you can make. Marcus enrolled that same week. He could not afford much. He started at 3%. His employer matched 2%. That was 5% going in from day one. It was not the whole answer, but it was a beginning of one. Sarah told him the key is to increase it by 1 percentage point every time you get a raise. You never feel the difference because the raise absorbs the increase. There's a psychological trap that catches most people in their 30s. It is a feeling that because they are so far behind, starting small is pointless. Financial behavioral researchers call this the what the hell effect. You miss one workout and think the week is ruined. You have no savings at 38 and think retirement is just not going to happen. But the math does not work like that. Compound interest is not linear. The last decade before retirement is not actually the most important decade. The decade you are in right now is. Starting at 39 with $500 a month invested at a 7% average return gives you nearly $242,000 by 65. Nothing is pointless if you start now. Decision 3 is addressing debt in the right order. Marcus had $24,000 in credit card debt spread across 4 cards, a car payment, and a student loan. He had been paying the minimum on everything and feeling like he was treading water. Sarah introduced him to a version of the debt avalanche method. List every debt by interest rate, highest to lowest. Throw everything extra at the highest rate first while paying minimums on the rest. Once that is gone, roll that payment to the next one. The savings are not emotional. They are mathematical. Paying off a 22% APR credit card first versus a 5% car loan can save thousands in interest over 24 months. NerdWallet's 2024 American Household Credit Card Debt Study found the average American carries $7,951 in credit card debt at an average APR of 20.75%. That balance costs over $1,600 a year in interest alone, just to stay still. Marcus was carrying 3 times that. Every month he delayed the avalanche. He was effectively paying hundreds of dollars to the credit card company for privilege of being broke. Sarah showed him a simple spreadsheet. Seeing the numbers laid out, the interest drain made visible, was the first time Marcus said it felt real. Decision 4 is building a real emergency fund, not a round number, but a calculated one. Most people have heard the advice. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses. But most people either do nothing with that advice or pick 3 months without calculating what 3 months actually means for their life. Marcus had $312 in savings. A single unexpected car repair or medical bill would go straight onto a credit card, undoing any debt progress he made. Sarah asked him to calculate his actual bare-bones monthly expenses: rent, utilities, food, insurance, minimum debt payments. His number was $3,100. A 3-month emergency fund meant $9,300 before he could feel safe. Rather than being paralyzed by that number, Sarah gave him a target with a deadline. She told him to open a separate high-yield savings account, label emergency only, and fund it with $500 a month for 19 months. At the end of that period, he would have his buffer. During those 19 months, any windfall, tax refund, overtime, side income, or bonus went directly there. Bankrate's 2024 Emergency Fund report found that 56% of Americans could not cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. Marcus was in that group. Within 8 months, he was out of it. The relief, he said later, was not just financial. It was physical. There's a reason the emergency fund comes before aggressive investing. Without it, every financial plan is one bad month away from collapse. People raid retirement accounts when emergencies hit. The IRS charges a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of income taxes for taking money out of traditional 401k before 59 and a half. That means a $5,000 emergency withdrawal can cost you $6,500 or more and set your retirement back by far more than the original $5,000 due to lost compound growth. The emergency fund is not a luxury. It is the foundation that makes everything else possible. Decision 5 is the one most people in their 30s resist the hardest because it sounds like something for rich people. It is starting to think about building a second income stream. Not a second job necessarily, though for many people in the short term that helps. It is building something, anything, that puts money in your account without requiring more hours of your time. Marcus was resistant. He was already tired. He did not want to hear about selling digital products or building an Etsy shop. Sarah told him to stop thinking about passion, and start thinking about problems he already knew how to solve. Marcus has spent 6 years in logistics operations. He knew supply chain processes inside and out. Within 3 months, he had one freelance consulting client paying him $800 a month for 4 hours of work. He did not launch a course. He did not start a podcast. He sent 2 emails to people he already knew. The extra $800 went entirely to his debt Avalanche. Within 9 months, his highest-rate credit card was paid off. The cash flow that had been going to the bank went straight back into his emergency fund and then his retirement account. The second income stream did not change his lifestyle. It changed his trajectory. CNBC reported in 2024 that 36% of Americans have a side income of some kind. The median side income is $810 a month. For people who use that money strategically rather than absorbing it into lifestyle spending, the compounding effect on their financial picture within 5 years is significant. The key word Sarah used was strategic. The second income only works if you decide in advance exactly where it goes before you earn it. If it hits your main account and mixes with your spending money, it disappears. Marcus set up a separate checking account for all freelance income. None of it was for spending. All of it was assigned before it arrived. 12 months after that birthday, Marcus turned 40 with $11,200 in his emergency fund, $8,400 in his 401k, one credit card fully paid off, and a second income stream that was still running. He was not wealthy. He had not caught up entirely, but he had done in 12 months what most people say they will do someday and never do. He had stopped waiting for the right moment and started using the moment he had. Sarah told him the difference between her at 35 and him at 39 was not intelligence or income. It was a date they both decided to stop delaying the obvious. If you are watching this and any part of Marcus's story felt like your own, then this video did its job. The 5 decisions are not complicated. Automate your savings before you can spend them. Start your retirement contributions today. Even at 1%, attack your debt in the right order with the Avalanche method. Build a real calculated emergency fund. And start one additional income stream using what you already know. None of these require you to be a finance expert. They require you to decide. So here's what I want to know. Which of these 5 decisions are you starting this week? Drop it in the comments. And if this video gave you one thing you're going to actually use, subscribe to Wealth Lens. We are here every week helping you see money differently.